Fludded.
Hi, hello, it's Craig here at Fludded. Nice to see you, nice. I am just going to do a quick video. Well, it's not going to be a quick video. I want to look at the, there was a documentary, Elon Musk's Twitter Storm, it was called. And it was made by somebody called Mariana Spring, who is according to her LinkedIn profile, the BBC's disinformation social media correspondent. And she is kind of trying to contact Elon Musk on Twitter at the moment. And she's saying that she is being bombarded, that word bombarded, by hate and death threats. So she's had thousands and thousands of death threats, because that's what bombardment is, and thousands of hate. I mean, I don't know why. I don't get why people think that you can do something and then everyone has to like it or say nothing. I don't know what world you'd want to be living in for that to make you happy. It's like all anyone should ever say to you is be nice. Be nice. Be nice. And if you're not nice, it's hate. It's either one or the other. There's no middle ground. There's no nuance. It's hate. And I hate it when people do that. And we see it quite a lot. I am like Mariana on Twitter. And I can see, I manage my Twitter accounts. And if there's any conversation that's going in basically it's a pylon or anything like that, just mute the conversation. You manage yourself and it. Because believe it or not, there are people out there who are just horrible, and they have a right that if they're breaking the law, you can send the law to get them arrested and put in prison or fined or whatever it is you want to do with them. You can do that. That's not a problem. But you have to collect the information, and you might be doing it for the rest of your life, because you're not going to make these people go away just by not having them saying anything on Twitter. You know, they're still going to exist out there. And Twitter is a funny space anywhere where what you tweet can be interpreted as having like having an attitude behind it. It can be passive aggressive, and people do use Twitter that way. Everyone does. Journalists do. I do. And it's so hard to train yourself to be a decent tweeter. It's so hard. Now, let me just so this is what's going on. Can I zoom in a little bit? There we go. Here's Theo Leggett. Mariana is a superb journalist. Before we get to let's have it out. So who's Theo Leggett to listen? That should be listened to. He's got nothing there. 3,900 followers, so that doesn't matter to me. Followed by Jeremy Vine, Mariana. He's an international business correspondent, writes about cars a lot, also planes, likes mountains, especially pointy ones. Never had a blue tick. I mean, there's something in there, isn't there? Some sort of agenda behind that. What's that mean? Buy one, mate. You can pay for it. Or do you have a problem with it? Let us know. That's lovely. Thanks, Theo. Appreciate it. See, that's what they want Twitter to be. That's the exchanges Twitter should be. After Musk tweeted about my reporting, I've been bombarded with hate and death threats, says Mariana. And I'm just looking at my... she also... I'm just looking at her. I want to know about this person. Before I see anything about what she's made, I want to know about her. Because this is what you should do. You want to know about your authors. Oh, subscribe. iNews, Mariana Spring. Lying awake at night, scrolling through abuse on social media is a lonely... Look at that. This is what she's written. This is 2021. April 29th, 2021. Lying awake at night, scrolling through abuse on social media is a lonely, stressful experience. Now, I'm sounding critical of Mariana, aren't I? Is this abuse? She would call this abuse, wouldn't she? I'm full of hate. This is hatred. It's not. It's kind of like you're in a position of power, and as journalists, you're able to swing people in all sorts of directions, which can affect how they vote, affect how they behave, And it's kind of like it isn't a place where just you can exist. There has to be people who are pushing back and checking. If this documentary that they made is sound, I'll say so. But if I find faults in it, I'll tell you my why I think there's a fault, and you can do with that what you like. Lying awake at night, scrolling through abuse on social media is a lonely, stressful experience, but we'll get a friend. While I'm increasingly do it with a friend, then it can be shared. But I'm increasingly aware of how common this nighttime routine is becoming for many. How are you? Are you watching them in their beds at night? Last weekend, after reporting, listen, by the way, I'm going to do that. Take the piss a bit, all right? Because that's a stupid paragraph. Oh, I'll do that as well. If I think it's stupid, I'll say it's stupid. I won't rub it up and cotton wool for you and coddle it. It's a stupid paragraph. Last weekend, after reporting on online conspiracies, I promoted at a protest in last weekend after reporting on online conspiracies being promoted at a protest in London, I was bombarded yet again with a torrent of threats and messages rife with misogyny, wishing I would die from the vaccine and calling me to be tried for war crimes. I posted on Twitter about the abuse, and within hours my inbox was full of pleas from other people in and outside the public eye who are unsure about how to deal with the abuse they are receiving online. Okay, well, we need to get definitions for these things that we are calling it. What is abuse on Twitter? Is this video abusive? I don't think so. Critical? Yeah, absolutely. Is it okay to be critical? Is any criticism abuse? Is it hate? If anybody, and I've already said this to Marianne on Twitter, and she's obviously not responded. Anybody on Twitter is threatening you, harassing you. There's a system in place to report them. I do it a lot, and they get booted off, right? And it happens. I'm a little bit hot on mic. It happens both on the left and the right. Right? So you might see it as a political thing, but people on the left are abusive, massively, death threats, somehow get away with it, or certainly used to in old Twitter, but you wouldn't have noticed that because you agree with them. That's the thing, right? You don't notice it if you agree with them. I don't agree with either of these weirdos, right? I'm what they call a centrist, a non-fence-sitting centrist. If people are talking sense on the left, I'll talk about it. If people are talking sense on the right, I'll talk about it. But I think there are either side of centrism, there's moderate, and then there's far left, far right. And it's pretty simple stuff, this. And there's a breaking apart. After Trump, everybody on the left went far left. And everyone on the right went far right. It seemed, didn't it, after Trump? And then things are slowly getting back to normal, and the oil on top of the water is separating. And it was a real shake-up of the jar when Trump got elected. But I think that people are now finding their spot, and you're seeing people who are like on the right are kind of like saying, well, I don't actually agree with these guys anymore. I'm going to go more moderate because I am more moderate in my thinking. And that's good. Moderates, left and right. When they start talking together, then we get stuff done. When we're polarized and both far, and there's this big gap in the middle, and I'm sat there doing this, then we have issues, big issues. So Mariana Spring has made a documentary. Should we listen to her? Yeah, definitely should, because she's qualified. She here's her LinkedIn. I don't think I'm breaking any doxing rules, am I, by sharing a LinkedIn page? It's publicly available. It pops up on Google when you type her name in. Oxford, University of Oxford. Now, just a little bit of background about me. I didn't go to Oxford or Cambridge. I went to Sheffield. And when I worked at the BBC, I got on a 2-year traineeship program where I was an apprentice at the BBC, trainee, for 2 years. 4,000 apply, 8,000 get accepted. And I got accepted because I wasn't going to Oxford. and I wasn't going to Cambridge. I was told drunkenly one night by my sort of course manager, said, "Oh yeah, we want people who there's a pressure on the BBC not to have Oxbridge people anymore." So I've been a producer now for quite a while, 30 years. Got like 6 documentaries under my belt for Discovery. I've been making programs for the BBC since the very late 90s. Just when the internet was coming along, I was working for BBC Knowledge, doing one of the flagship shows with Charlie Brooker, where we were doing technology shows, talking about the internet. And I build computers. We built computers. We criticised it. We looked at it. We're all over the internet, and I've never gone off it. And I've been paying attention to it for a long, long time, since the 90s. And the 2000s, and the 2010s, and the 2020s. So yeah, that's the little potted history of me. Now this is going to be kind of like I am about to watch a 30-minute documentary. Okay, I am going to be fair use talking about it over the top. I'm going to be pausing it and breaking through it, so it might be a long video. But first of all, let's just look at Mariana Spring, BBC's disinformation and social media correspondent. Because so far, I'm not very impressed by her. It's more than anything, it's this kind of stuff. After Musk tweeted about my reporting, I've been bombarded with hate and death threats. More evidence of what Twitter insiders told BBC Panorama about how Musk's site is no longer able. Are these the people that were like super, that he wanted to get rid of because they were super left wing, talking to the FBI and happily finding anyone who was not voting for Labour or for the Democrat Party? Are these the people she was speaking to? They're the wrong people. They're bitter. They're going to be bitter. They're going to be twisted. I haven't watched the Panorama documentary yet, but already it's rude to call it. Why are you calling him Musk? Spring? Why are you calling Musk? He's Elon. He's Elon. He's there. He's here to help us. Protect users from trolling. What? I don't know what you class as. Is this a troll? Is this an abusive, hateful troll? I don't know where you are in your definitions of things. You're just using these words almost willy-nilly. But, I mean, I wonder how you vote, by the way. I mean, I don't. We know, and you know. How was The Guardian, by the way? Do you enjoy choosing to go to The Guardian? Mariana chose to do work experience at The Guardian, which she said was for a couple of weeks. Well, no, that's not true, because her LinkedIn says she was at The Guardian for a year and 8 months. So I don't get that. This is from 2021.
And just by emailing the paper and asking if they ever have the opportunity for experience.
This is talking about getting jobs.
Particularly when you're on your year abroad, there are certain bursaries that were available to students who were
studying. Went to France for a long time.
Doing internships or work
for a while.
And that was really
nothing's a long time when you're young.
You did your year in Moscow and
she went to Moscow.
Well, you came back.
Did a year. Been a year everywhere. She's done a year everywhere.
I
went potato picking for a year.
And it was then that I started applying for work.
We're an expert in potatoes now.
And I'm sure everyone here has kind of been through that process of applying for different stuff on either newspaper or broadcast media websites.
Yep, I've done that.
I applied for some work experience at The Guardian and at Private Eye as well. I had the opportunity to do a couple of weeks with both of them. And that was brilliant.
So she did a couple of weeks at The Guardian. So she chose The Guardian and Private Eye. She must be a hardcore right-winger, right? Fancy choosing those two. Gosh, she's really politically right-wing. There are papers in existence that have a very balanced view when they report stuff. And she thinks that, at the BBC, there's pressure on her to be impartial. And my God, when I was trained at the BBC, was impartiality drummed into us. And it's very easy to be impartial, it really is. So she thought, because she believes in impartiality, she thought she'd go to Private Eye or The Guardian. Okay. So she was at The Guardian for a while, and then she was in at the BBC 3 months as a broadcast journalist. putting together packages. Runner. Broadcast journalist for BBC Newsnight for a year. Shifting as a producer / journalist at BBC Newsnight, where I bid for interviews, pitch ideas, researcher. Okay, broadcast journalist at BBC Minute, 7 months. Present, report, and produce news for BBC Minute. Good. Specialist disinformation. She's gone from that to specialist. She's a specialist now on disinformation and social media reporting. Or social media, sorry. Full time. 2 years at the BBC News. And now she's BBC Disinformation Social Media Correspondent, which is a made up title, right? It's a new position that's obviously she's applied for. And she's been doing that for 8 months. Okay. So although I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek, taking the piss, as far as I'm concerned, she's fully qualified to be able to do a good job and abide by the BBC producer guidelines, which I have over there, ring bound, if she's interested. I don't have this year's, but they're very easy to get. So, tweeting this out. Now, for me, when I saw this, I thought, oh, look, there's a link to the BBC iPlayer episode. This is her promoting the show. She's obviously hates Tusk. She hates Musk. We all hate Tusk. She absolutely can't stand him. And she's reached out again for him. You can read a thread of the investigation into the top panorama team. The top panorama team. And team across the BBC here! Exclamation point. Roll up, come and watch my show. Do keep getting in touch if you've been impacted or want to share something with me. What about do get in touch if it's absolutely fine and you've not been impacted at all? Doesn't want that. Doesn't want to hear from you if that's been the case. Doesn't want that side of the story at all. If it's all been absolutely fine, don't want to hear from you. Just, if you hate Elon, and there are millions out there who do, get in touch with me because make stuff up if you want. It's fine. Exclusive. Marianne Spring. Twitter insiders have told me and BBC Panorama it's no longer able to protect users from trolling. Twitter insiders. These are the people who are getting sacked, right? State-coordinated disinformation. I don't know that. State-coordinated disinformation and child exploitation. It's sounding like it's rife. Isn't she making it feel like this is all over Twitter? This is something that he has been talking about tackling right off the bat as his number one priority. She's not telling you that. I don't know why she's not telling you that, though I've got my suspicions. Exclusive data and Twitter users' testimony. But it'll all be in a documentary. She'll be showing Elon's tweets saying that he's going to be tackling it. It'll all be there, I'm sure. Right. I tweeted her to say it's against Twitter guidelines to harass, abuse, or present people with death threats. So instead of moaning about it to get people to watch your film, which is exactly what you're doing, post screen grabs and help us clean up Twitter to get rid of these people. I'll report them too. No response. Not really interested in getting rid of them. What's she going to do? There's no trolls. She is the BBC Disinformation social media correspondent. She needs them to exist in order for her to have a job. So let's have a look at this show, right? And this is where I'm going to get copyright struck, but I'll contest it and I'll win it because I'm critiquing this. Look, I'm here. I'm not just broadcasting it willy-nilly. And they will be contested because they don't like it. They don't like what I'm going to say because I already know it's going to be shite. So this is Panorama. I've got to be careful with music, haven't I? Let me just, can I do that? I'm going to turn music down.
Panorama, one of the world's most influential social media sites in chaos.
Okay. There's an interview going on here, look. I have to be careful how I do this.
And my email is just not working anymore.
Right, she's been sacked.
And that's when I knew that I had been laid off.
Yeah, well, guess what? Your company got sold. What do you what? Okay.
Mr. Elon Musk.
Elon! Yeah, he's sending cars into space.
Time. Twitter insiders tell the
Look what they're doing. Look what they're choosing. Look at the clips they're choosing to show of him. There's lots of clips of him looking really cool. But these are the clips they want to show.
story of Elon Musk
Him doing this sort of stuff.
takeover.
Swaggering.
You didn't know who you reported to or who was in the company
Who's this guy?
anymore.
How he
So when the takeover happened, the company went into disarray. Nobody knew what was what.
sacked staff who helped keep children safe from paedophiles.
So see what she just said. He sacked staff who were keeping people safe from paedophiles. What? Straight in with it, isn't she?
From a team of 20 to a team of about 6 or 7.
Who are you? Why is this guy anonymous? Who's going to get him?
And be able to keep on top of the problem.
Is he Scottish?
And how he welcomed back banned accounts.
You know there's something wrong with the world. It's a splinter in the mind driving you mad. Andrew Tate. I never forgave mask wearers. She's obsessed with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's an idiot. He's in prison. He's a trafficker. He should go to jail. Nobody likes him.
Bang out the machete
Machete. Spaghetti.
and grip her up by the neck.
Yeah.
But shut up, bitch.
Look at this. It's we've had Twitter is doing bad stuff to children. Right-wing chauvinists, Andrew Tate. Oh, look, he's calling himself a twit. He's not even taking it
The
seriously.
users feeling unprotected.
Who? Let's have a look.
I would ask, why are these accounts that are bullying and harassing people still allowed on the platform?
Where are the screen grabs? Report them. Get them kicked off. Dead easy. Sports Agent Times. Okay, what's wrong with this? EM takes a dig at the US election charade. Look how rapt the audience listens to him say what he wanted to say. Is that hatred then? I don't know. What's... This is bananas. After Sons Paul. What? This is all... What is this? Oscars. Hi, Lou Musk. I've asked you for an interview and not heard back. I'm in the US and want to speak to you, so thought I'd take a leaf out of your book. Why should he talk to you? Who's this? Who's Alice Cummings? That's that. Elon Musk Twitter storm. Right, so there's the intro. Mariana Spring, and now Fizz. An honour to talk about the brave people at the heart of the investigations at the committee, Manchester Arena survivors, from disaster trolls, Ollie Stevenson's parents, and who caught up in disinformation in War on Truth, on Death by Conspiracy Pods glassed. I don't know what that freaking means. Nicholas Sugden, Mariana Spring, one of the best of her generation. Awesome, brave work. Retweeted. Nothing like giving evidence in Parliament on your 27th birthday. She's 27. So she was 27 on the 21st of February 2023. She must know everything. She's had so much time. What a woman, says Nual Ginty. Mariana Spring retweeted. Definitely about promotion. Brilliant to talk to MPs about investigations for BBC Panorama, Radio 4 podcast, Americast, and across the BBC, exposing the real world harm on online disinformation and hate. More What is it?
I'm the BBC's disinformation and social media correspondent. Some of Twitter's 3
This following them into the office
million
deal.
users have been getting in touch with me about a rise in hate and abuse.
Let's find out who they are.
I'm Dr. Vicky Mel, and I'm a senior lecturer in reproductive immunology at Imperial College. But there
Reproductive immunology.
used to be a mechanism for reporting misinformation.
Yep.
My name is Helen.
Helen Janes. I'm so grateful to be featuring the doc behind closed doors about domestic. They've been reaching out to Mariana.
And I am a survivor of domestic abuse. I have
have experienced and seen firsthand how significantly worse the online abuse has been on Twitter.
Okay. Screen grabs.
My name is Ellie Wilson and I'm a rape survivor who's been using social media to try and campaign.
A lot of people glue Andrew Tate's arrest, which I can. So this is going to be about Andrew Tate, is it? He's awful. I agree. This is a documentary about Andrew Tate.
Against women.
Right? People who are doing this are bad people. So this is documentaries about sexual abusers. Got it. My life after him.
In the early hours of New Year's Day 2018, I was raped
She's tweeting this.
while unconscious by someone I trusted. This was the beginning of a cycle of abuse that lasted years.
That's awful.
Ellie tweeted in January this year after the man who raped her was sentenced to 5 years in
Right,
jail.
good.
She
Not
received
enough
a
time.
barrage of
Okay, here's the receipts. Good. If you respectfully bury the pain, I think your brain will gradually get bored from the sameness of the suffering. Not that you wouldn't channel it, but if you define your entire life around it, you might not help in leading a normal life, or you are enjoying the attention. These are all anonymous accounts. That's the first one I'm reading there. The side eye snide implication is that. Oh my God! Why are people doing that? What have we not been told? Ellie Wilson, I don't give a blank. It's 5:30 in the morning. Oh dear. Why? I'm not quite sure what we're proving here. Someone is after celeb status.
I find it most.
Would your life be happier if you put behind you the unkind things he said? Is that hate? Sorry, but don't believe that one bit.
Difficult, the people.
Is this hold on? Who's this? Who's this person again? Eddie Wilson. All right. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look at Eddie Wilson on Twitter. Pain can either be your prison or your platform. I've had people ask me why I'm speaking out, and my answer is this: I have so much pain that I will never be able to get rid of. I'm so choosing to channel it. I intend to use the pain to drive change. Right. So this is going to be a bunch of why are people having a pop at her? What a remarkable, courageous young lady you are. Hi, Colin. Thank you. Go, Ellie. So let me share this with you. Here's some of the hate from Ellie Wilson, pinned tweet. What a remarkable, courageous person. Go, Ellie. You went through appalling experiences. Thank you so much. Well said. I can see the courage in you. Just watched your interview on BBC. Father of 4 daughters. Thanks so much. You're amazing, wonderful. We rise. Thank you. Such a courageous woman. I'm so sorry to read what happened to you. Well said. All power to you. Sorry, what's this documentary called again? It's about Twitter being a hellhole, right? Having just read your story on the BBC website, I have a great deal of admiration for you. Story on the BBC website. Jesus will heal you. That's true. Thank you. It's not true. Very touchy subject. I have 2 daughters. Try to catch. I don't want to read that. I wish there was something that never happened, but I admire you hugely. Yeah, there's something about the men thing. Oh, men. You know. This is predominantly positive, though. Are you Scottish by any chance? Says Chandis. Truly appreciate. Oh, Ellie, you're so precious. All right, so where's the floating messages? Those messages floating in the documentary about, you know, the problem is that if you create yourself, if you get yourself somebody at the BBC who's called, go and find terrible things on the internet, that's what they're going to do. They're going to do those floating, you know, messages coming up saying that, you know, oh, Elon Musk is terrible. I've had videos of him doing this. Okay, here we go. There's Ellie Wilson. On this International Women's Day, I have to say it's slightly surreal to see myself being featured in one of the favourite women's magazines. Is it? Thanks. Glamour Mag. So now we're talking about how beautiful she is. Okay. Well, she is very beautiful. Rape survivors say they have been targeted by accounts that have become more active since the Twitter takeover, with evidence they've been reinstated or newly created. Right. Which accounts? Let's get them banned. Come on, let's do it. Come on, guys. Let's ban these people. What accounts? I mean, I think I know what you mean, but I want to know, why are they attacking you? What did you say to them that made them attack that? How did they become aware of you? Why are they? It doesn't make any sense. I spoke to Marianne Spring for BBC Panorama. We know my experience of online hate. Yeah, Marianne only wants to know about online hate. She doesn't want to know about all the nice messages you've received, which it seems you've received in lots and lots and lots. Plus, getting on the cover of Glamour magazine or whatever it was that you did. I mean, that sounds like I'm attacking you, but what I'm not. I'm attacking it. I'm attacking what's happening. What has been done here, and it's not right that it's not right that there's this. This is misinformation or disinformation. Where's the information about all the positive stuff? What percentage of it is are you bombarded by hate or bombarded by praise? Mr. Musk's response to BBC's Panorama's investigation, in which I feature, is odd to say the least. Being raped was bad enough, but when I decided to speak up about my experience online, the last thing I expected was to be bullied for it on Twitter. Oh, well, there's 16 replies to that. Just looking at a glance at the comments of this tweet make me sick. What? All right, well, let's find them. Let's get them banned. Come on. Why are you taking a tweet that Elon Musk had responded to someone else in a completely different context? That's a fair comment. He's tweeted rubbishing the whole investigation. I'm rubbishing it. Because there's disinformation there already. Ellie Wilson has received lots and lots of nice comments and supportive comments, and that's great. Tell us about them. Don't just start because you hate Elon Musk, because you hate him, because you vote for Labour Party, because you do that and you're part of that narrative, pile on Elon Musk because he's a massive capitalist and he's like the richest man in the world or whatever he is, and because he's sacking all the left-wingers that used to work at Twitter or not work at Twitter. We also the TikToks of, I come in the morning and I have myself a macchiato, and then I have a little bowl of porridge, and then I go and sit in my quiet room. And then we've seen the TikToks all about life at Twitter before Elon Musk. And it does seem that, I don't know, I wasn't there. Were you? I mean, that's the story, that people aren't working. He's not talking about you or about you. Just for context, so you know his comment had zero to do with people who would bully a woman for being raped. Twitter never could and never would protect us from trolls. For me, trolls are half the fun of being on here. They help me keep my sword sharp. Yes, the pen is mightier than the sword and a lot easier to write with. He's responded to that woman with, true, have to admit trolls are kind of fun. That's absolutely fine thing to say. And if you interpret that as like, oh, he's given permission for people to attack victims of rape, then you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. Your mind, you're like this. This is how you see the world. Tunnel vision. See the bigger picture. Your feelings are overriding your logic processes. You're not. It is really bad. And what's particularly annoying is that the BBC have a disinformation person who's doing disinformation now. I'm getting off the dock. Let's watch some more.
2018, I was raped while unconscious by
That's
someone I
awful.
trusted. This was the beginning of a cycle of abuse that lasted years.
Ellie tweeted in January this year after the man who raped her was sentenced to 5 years
Good.
in jail.
Justice.
She received a barrage of abuse.
Now, I've already been through some of these, and
I find it most
she loves that word, barrage. Bombardment, barrage. Let's have a look what else we got here. At the same time, some women do go overboard with the amount of attributes, such as overly sexy clothes or flashy makeup. Is that abuse? Is that abusive? That's a point. Somebody's making. Look, you've tweeted something. You're opening up a conversation. I don't know what you want. Do you just want people to come and say, "Oh, that's really terrible. I'm really sorry." One woman, "Oh, go Queen." You know, if that's what you want, then you're not interested in having a conversation about it. There are going to be people, when it talks about subjects like this, who are going to say things that you don't like, and you can change their minds by having a conversation with them, not by just going, "Oh, abuse, that's hate." That comment there, at the time, some women do go overboard with the amount of sexual attributes, such as overly, clothing and flashy makeup. And I know what the argument is about that. They're blaming the victim. I understand that. And that's what I would say to that person. Say it to them then. Don't just go, "Oh, hate, oh, abuse, oh, misogynist." Attach as many freaking labels as you can to these people. That person may well be an idiot, but they might have a point. I don't know. If you do intentionally, sorry, but you deserve it. I'm not a hater. I'm just stating the obvious. There's a limit to lewdness. This documentary has included that tweet as a barrage of hate. It drives me nuts, this sort of stuff.
This didn't happen.
Oh, they're all fading out. We can't read the rest. We just assume they're as bad as that one.
That I'm lying. But
Yeah,
also
nobody thinks you're lying. He's gone to prison. Nobody thinks you're lying. The guy's gone to prison. The court has said you're not lying. What the frick is this?
like a secondary trauma.
Have the messages been overtly misogynistic?
Yes, there are some messages that, are directly about me, but there are also messages about women in general.
What's a woman? What do you mean?
Women lie, women are
Yeah, men lie, typical men. Yeah, that conversation's going to go on and on and on. It ain't going to stop.
women bring
And by the way, what I've just said there sounds like a Tateism. I am so aware of that. I can't stand Andrew Tate. I think he's a misogynist pig. And you've got to, we've all got to understand. We've got to understand nuances here. There's no say that bad thing about all men and then criticizing somebody for saying that bad thing about all women. It's like both are bad, right? So what she's saying now is what, well, let's see what she says.
bring this upon themselves.
There are dozens of accounts
So she objects to people generalizing about women. That's absolutely, so do I.
using Twitter to abuse Ellie and other.
And again, we've been told about abuse and seen nothing about it. Let's have a look. I bet there's some really, but you could probably find depends how big the conversation got around this. And, maybe Ellie responded to things Andrew Tate said and then all his lot pile on. And that's what happens. He's a cult.
One, for example, which appears to have several accounts in the same name doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Several accounts in the same name doing the same thing. So that's somebody who's putting energy into having several accounts and then right. This for me is an issue about anonymity on Twitter. I don't think we should have it, and I hoped that the blue tick would get rid of that and that we would have a situation where if people know that they can be held accountable for stuff they're saying on Twitter, they would say half the stuff. So the fact that they're doing it anonymously means that they are just trying to get to her, and they will do whatever they can to upset this woman, and that's trolling. That's what I would say is trolling.
that account I know has targeted my friends as well. Misogynistic, blaming them for being raped.
Labels. I want to know what he said. Name the. Why would you not name the account? That's insane that you're letting them get away with that. You have to call them out. Put the freaking Twitter account on the screen, and they will be banned. Now I know that you're thinking, well, yeah, but you can set Twitter to, you only see responses from people who have verified accounts. And if the account has been verified, you're proved who you are. Otherwise, these accounts will be popping up all the time. Why are you down in the mire of Twitter? These people are always going to exist. You're not going to change the world to be to get everyone to agree with you. And I can't. And I'm really sorry that so many people exist who are bad. I'm not going to have time to watch all this.
I noticed a lot of the
It's
accounts
cack,
have
though.
become far more active in
It's
the
absolute
last
shite.
few months. So what's changed?
Where are we paying her to fly to?
I'm off to San Francisco,
Of course.
to where Twitter was founded, to find out.
To all the people who got sacked. I'm going to go speak to all the people who really hate Elon Musk.
I'm
previously struggled to affect that conversation.
Lisa Jennings-Young joined the company in 2019.
All right, I'm not even going to go any further. I'm just going to find out about Lisa Jennings-Young. I mean, I'm not going to spend any more time on this because there's been too many stupid mistakes. If I find something up with this Lisa Jennings-Young, University of Minneapolis. Okay, I'm not finding much of that. Let's have a look.
As it was rapidly expanding. But with Twitter's growth had also come problems.
We had noticed over the past few years that individuals were tweeting less and less, and that's
It's because you'd banned them all. I'm the former head of content design. Content design? I think Elon tweeted yesterday that we don't have any designers.
because
We know that fear of abuse and harassment is one of the top reasons users choose to leave Twitter. Fear of abuse and harassment. Okay. 12% of non-tweeters cite fear of abuse, harassment as a reason. That's right, because you didn't have the blue tick verification process in place. If users tell us that they've seen content in the last 7 days. So Twitter started like banning people because they felt people were leaving.
fear.
Since when did Twitter become such a negative place? I did not sign up for this. I swear sometimes all I want to do is deactivate. One person's tweet is put in this PowerPoint.
Of abuse
I
and
presume it's a
harassment.
PowerPoint.
Lisa's team worked on features designed to protect users from
Create a safe environment.
online hate.
We didn't always get it right.
What's hate?
We very publicly didn't get it right. Sometimes it was not at all
Okay, so she's bad at her job. Go.
perfect, but we were trying and we were making things better.
Can you tell us what you didn't get right a few times?
All the time.
Press her, ask her, reporter, hey, journalist person, ask her what she got wrong some of the times. You don't want to know, do you? You just want to know what she got right. You don't want to know what she got wrong, what they did wrong, what did Twitter do wrong under these people that you want. Doesn't want to know. Tell me what you got wrong. I would definitely have asked her.
A set of rules designed to safeguard users.
Oh, maybe.
Helen Sage Lee joined the platform in
Who's this?
2021.
A lot
We just-
of the policies that are written for social media companies and for different social media platforms.
Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Helen Sage Lee. Right. So Lisa Jennings Young, she's gone now. No doubt we'll return to that interview. Never finding out what she did wrong. Helen Sage Lee. Let's have a look. Helen Sage. Oh, it's Helen Sage. What? Americans. Program manager for a few months. LinkedIn. Let's have a look. Ex-ops program manager at Twitter, co-founder at Prism. Identity and safety ops specialist at Snap. Let's find out what she's saying on Twitter, shall we? Helen Sage, is she? Oh, she's an activist for Twitter packages for an ex-Twitter employee. Severance packages are coming. Well, that's cool. That's good, isn't it? You're going to get a severance package. To every ex-Twitter employee I can reach, severance packages are coming. Do not click or accept anything in that package without speaking to an attorney first. Oh, telling them what to do, eh? I was part of the 11-4 layoffs. This is a far less than what was promised in writing repeatedly in the acquisition. Talk to an attorney before signing your severance package. You should understand all of your... Well, show us the severance package. What is it? This is far less than what was promised in writing. What do you mean? Oh, let's have a look at this thread. This is interesting. You deserve to know what all your options are, whether we work together or I was just a name to you in a company repository or we've never met before. I want whatever is best for you. That's so nice. It doesn't matter what attorney you choose to consult, nor is it my business. But I'm putting this out there. There are more than 3,500 of us ex-tweeps laid off. Tweeps? You are in good company. 3,500. There's so many of us who have been diligently supporting each other throughout our legal rights, blah, blah, blah. For me personally, the money is one component. Yeah. It's about principle. Strongly believe that we should be keeping people accountable for the promises that they make and failing to deliver on them. What promises were made? Just frickin' tell us, will ya? When you require the company. And we've been told in writing that the severance packages that post-acquisition employees receive should be no less favourable than the ones offered to employees prior to the acquisition. So who are you having a go at? Prior to the acquisition, was the severance package suggested by Elon, or was it by your previous employer? If you decide that, that's not Elon's fault. If you decide after talking with an attorney and weighing out all your options, do you want to move on? I support you. Right. I'm doing this. So it's possible an attorney could say, yeah, take your money and bugger off. I'm doing this because I genuinely love where I worked. Well, of course, you go in every morning and it's like freaking flapping lattes. And then a bowl of porridge and some fresh bananas and grapes and go and lie down in your safe room. I would love that. I loved where I worked. On a personal note, tweeps have supported me throughout the parts of my life. I bet she's got a Patreon. Please retweet to get the word out there to all ex-Twitter employees. Lisa Bloom is my attorney, and hundreds of these employees are ready for lawsuits. I bet they are. Oh, look, people are not being nice. I keep wondering if Twitter's tried to bankrupt to get out of paying. It might go bankrupt, it might not. Let's go right down. I tell you what, let's go to Helen's. Sorry, I'm obsessing with one person at the minute because I want to. How do I search Helen's profile? Oh, hold on. Let me just do something here. A simple search. D. Helen Sage, can't believe I got to say this. Relieved that journalists don't have to spend copious amounts of time /resources covering dumb things that Trump has to say about Ukraine. Unlike Trump. Let's see what else she says. I don't know how to do searches, to be honest with you. My dog snorted an ant yesterday. Today we discovered that she ate a full corn of a liquid ant trap bait. I think it's safe to assume that the ant she snorted the other day. She's got a cute dog, hasn't she? Poison controls say her dog's 100% okay. You see what I mean? You can... Oh... Followed by Mariana Spring. Well, I never. What's this? Set a reminder and tune into these ladies. Powerful. Powered by @Twitter. Oh, dear. 1 year at Twitter, and a year ago I joined remotely during the year that feels like a long month ago. I also visit HQ too. Let's have a look at our life at Twitter. Here's Twitter Life, look. Twitter Live. Frappa Mappa Nappa Tappuccino. That sign was sold in an auction, wasn't it? Money they wasted on that sort of stuff. Such a privilege to be featured in NASDAQ for the work we've done with prison bags. Oh, she's on Instagram. I'm gonna leave her alone. I'm gonna leave this whole topic alone because I'm bored. I'm bored of Mariana Spring and her nonsense. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Go and watch that documentary if you want. I've seen enough. We're seeing. I'm not seeing any definitions of anything she's saying. If people who are victims of crimes tweet about it, and then people pile on them and are harassing them by creating other fake accounts, then you can either just spend your life getting those accounts banned, but each individual tweet is probably not a bannable, offending tweet. It's just the build-up of harassment that gets to you. Because guess what? The world outside your window is not if life for you is about only ever being happy and having everybody like you and like everything you say and like how you vote and like how you think and like your attitude and your opinions, if life for you is just having everybody like those things, then that's not the world that you live in. You're living in a fantasy world. But the thing is, when we walk down the street and we go shopping or whatever, we're not sharing our opinions and our views, are we, with the world? We don't wear badges that say this is where we stand politically. Nobody has any clue, unless of course you do wear badges to position yourself politically, and then people are going to like your lumpian. It's a very clear message of stay away from me, I'm a communist, or stay away from me, I'm far right, and we're all bigoted against different types of people. I mean, it sounds like Helen and some of the other contributors to the show hate right-wingers. They hate them, or they hate anybody who can agree with something that a right-wing talking point. And this is like a huge problem as the far right and the right are separate, and you start getting the moderate right, because the moderate right and the moderate left are, when they start talking, we get stuff done. It's the far right. When Trump got elected, everyone went, all the left went far left, and all the right went far right, and it's a big chasm. And there was me in I'm off the fence, but I'm definitely a centrist. And whenever I hear people talking sense from any side, I will support it. But I'm always conscious, because of my training at the BBC, my training as a producer, when I hear people use words like barrage, and then they have a perfect opportunity to literally show a barrage of tweets, and you pick them out and you read them, and they're not hate. That's wrong, man. That's disinformation. That's leading people astray. And when I've got a family member calling me like they did this morning to say, "Oh, Elon Musk is terrible. I saw that documentary." That's people who are not embedded into the nuances and the details of this, which I am. Long before Marianne was probably even born. When I see that, it makes me very sad. And I'm in a position where I can challenge it, just like Marianne's in a position where she can challenge it. But just pay attention to what the frick your editors are doing, because that is stupid. You couldn't find enough to create a proper shower, so you put stuff like that in. As I say, you're not going to have a lovely, fluffy, coddling world out there. And if you want to not be part of it, make sure you only engage with verified accounts by going into your settings and your profile settings. Set it so that you only engage with verified people, because verified people are not going to talk to you like that. They can be more like me, where I might challenge you very harshly and very abruptly. But what I'm not going to do is harass you. What I'm not going to do is abuse you. I'm not going to call you any names. I'm not, and I don't hate you. What I do hate is what you're doing, not you. What you're doing, the action. You're actioning something, and I will. I'm criticizing it, not you. Your action. Okay, separate the two things in your heads, and I only say that because it seems like that's not happening. You know, if it is happening, then show me. But you got a chance to make a documentary. I made some bloody terrible documentaries because I had powers that be make it mold into a completely different way to how I shot it or I directed it. So I know it can be difficult. You get manipulated. But this is a documentary that's been proudly boasted and put on social media. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage, man. And I know I will watch the rest of it in my spare time. But it's so far what I've seen is trash. Anyway, that's an hour on literally the first few minutes of your documentary. Absolute bad. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that hour of me moaning and whinging. No doubt I'll get hate and abuse by people not agreeing with me. Absolutely. That's fine. If people this will be on my YouTube account. If people do put comments down there that make me feel bad, I don't care. I might remove them if they call me a name, or if they are like particularly and there's like venom behind it. I'll block them from being able to comment on my account ever again. They'll think they're commenting, but nobody's seeing what they're writing. They can just write themselves into oblivion, as far as I'm concerned. You can do that on YouTube. You can block people. So I'll just do that. It's called managing your accounts, managing your social media. Maybe make documentaries explaining to people like, my family, how to do that. How to make, if you don't want to be trolled on the internet, then manage your accounts. Get yourself a blue tick. Only pay attention to people who have gone to the bother of verifying themselves, because they can be held accountable. They'll, if they ever break the rules, either abusing you or name calling you or anything like that, then they'll get banned, and they won't get the money back for their blue tick. Truth is, sounds like it's not really happening. This barrage that you've been saying you've been getting for the last few years, it sounds like people have been justified in criticizing you. Anyway, it makes me mad. Not these people don't make me mad. That this is happening makes me mad. So it's very sad.